October just gave us our clearest signal yet. Omaha's housing market is shifting. Stick around because I'm breaking down the three biggest signs the market is turning and why that could finally mean opportunity for buyers. This isn't a crash, but it's definitely not business as usual. In this update, I'm breaking down why more homes are sitting longer than they have in months, why this cooling might actually be the best news buyers have heard all year, and why sellers are finally starting to negotiate again. Hi, everyone. My name is David Matney, your local Omaha real estate expert with Nebraska Realty. Every month, I track the data and not the drama so you can make smart, educated decisions whether you're buying, selling, or relocating to the Omaha Metro. In this month's update, we'll look at what's really happening across Douglas and Sarpy County, from inventory trends and price reductions to buyer demand and interest rate shifts. Let's jump into the numbers and see what's changing in the Omaha real estate market. Why is it taking longer for homes to sell? Let's look at the current inventory. For reference, we're going to be looking at Douglas and Sarpy County, Nebraska. For anyone new to the area, Douglas County is home to the city of Omaha, the towns of Ralston, Bennington, Waterloo, and Valley, Nebraska. Sarpy County is located just south of Douglas County and is home to the city of Bellevue, Papillion, La Vista, Gretna, and Springfield, Nebraska. How many homes do we have on the market? Currently in Douglas and Sarpy County, we have a total of 2,415 homes on the active market. That is up 15.4% compared to last year. If we separate new from existing, we currently have 946 new construction homes on the market. We are actually down 4.6% in available new construction homes compared to last year. Now, why is there a dip in new construction? Builders react to the marketplace. If builders sense that the market is beginning to cool, they adjust to the market. The last thing a builder would want is a newly built home that is sitting vacant. Keep in mind, builders don't actually build a home until a buyer will go under contract. So also, when you see 946 new construction properties on the MLS, those homes are at different stages of construction. Some of those homes are at lot stage, some are at frame stage, and some are newly built and complete. That is why you have to be careful looking and comparing the new versus the existing market. For existing homes, we currently have 1,469 homes for sale in Douglas and Sarpy County. This year, we have 33.5% more homes on the market, and that is good if you're a buyer. One of the biggest complaints we have had over the past 5 years is the lack of inventory. Let's take a moment and look at the existing inventory over the past 10 years. Look at the inventory from 3 years ago. In September of 2022, we had a total of 692 homes on the active market. We had a compound problem. We had record low inventory on top of abnormally low interest rates. And this is what led to a very unhealthy housing market. Now what you're seeing is a return to a more normal market. These numbers in the existing market are similar to the pre-pandemic market. A normal market means homes will take longer to sell. As a seller, buyers will be doing inspections, which means buyers will be asking for repairs. Bidding wars and multiple offers are no longer the norm. Can it still happen? Yes, but it's not as frequent. It also means it's highly unlikely homes will be selling well above list price. As a seller, you have to price your home correctly. And as a seller, you'll also see buyers asking for concessions. Now, what is a concession? You might see a buyer asking a seller to pay some of the buyer's closing costs. In a normal market, you typically see two people unhappy. Buyers think they're paying too much, and sellers think they sold it for too little. This is typically how you arrive at market value. That is a normal market. You have to understand the headlines. The news media and the people on YouTube want to get clicks. There is also a negativity bias on YouTube. Bad news sells. Having a video about a normal market is not going to generate clicks or views. And I understand that because guess what? I want clicks and views too. Speaking of clicks, if you find value with my videos and my content, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so my videos get promoted to more people. If you're looking to move to Omaha and you need assistance, my contact information should be on the screen. I talk to people every day who are making a move to our area, and I would love to assist. Okay, we have more homes sitting on the market. The big question is, are sellers starting to blink on price? Let's take a look at the overall market. The median sale price in Douglas and Sarpy County was $321,000 for the month of September, which is down 1.2% compared to last year. When you compare the new construction market to the existing market, it tells a different story. For new construction, the median sale price for a new construction home was $430,575, which is up 3.2% compared to last year. When you look at the existing market, the numbers were flat. The median sale price for an existing home was $305,000, which is flat compared to 2024. Let's look at home prices over the past 10 years. In this graph, we'll be looking at the 12-month rolling average. This smooths out month-to-month fluctuation. We have new construction in green and existing in red. We can see that the prices in the new construction market in Douglas and Sarpy County peaked in July of 2023 and has since backed off. But we're starting to see a little uptick in the new construction market. On the existing side in red, we have seen a steady increase in prices over the past 10 years. All of the talk you hear about the market tanking is just that. Talk. Can you see prices in other markets like Florida and Texas go down? Absolutely. And remember, even in the Omaha market, prices can soften. That doesn't mean a crash. And anytime you're talking about real estate, remember, real estate markets are like the weather. It's all local. Even inside of a market, you're going to see variation. The market in Midtown Omaha is going to be different than West Omaha. Douglas County is going to be different than Sarpy County. Different markets and different price points behave differently. That's why you're going to need a local expert on your side. If you're curious about the valuation of your home, check out my free valuation tool. It's called HomeBot, and it'll give you a monthly valuation of your home. It's free, and there's no obligation, and you can sign up by clicking on the QR code on the screen. Price trends tell half the story. To see if demand is holding or softening, you need to look at the closed sales data. Sales are up. In September, the number of closed sales was up 13.8% compared to 2024. More sales is good. Last month, we had a total of 938 closed sales. Too many people get caught up in all of the drama of the real estate market, sales numbers, and home prices. People still want to own a home in America, and they want a piece of the American dream. Is it harder to buy a home today? Absolutely. But that's not going to stop the people who can buy a home. People want to raise their families and they want a place to make memories. Yes, it is a financial decision, but it's not driven entirely by finance. And, maybe a person can't afford to buy a $400,000 home, but maybe they can afford to buy one for $300,000. Sales are up. Sales are up because interest rates are now at their lowest level they have been all year. When interest rates go down, it costs less to borrow money, which makes homes more affordable. Did I say homes were affordable? No, I said they were more affordable. And there's a large segment of the market that is still priced out of the market. Why are interest rates down? Interest rates follow the 10-year Treasury yield. When there is economic uncertainty, investors seek safety and move more money into the bond market. When bond prices increase, the yield will fall. Do we have economic uncertainty? Absolutely. At some level, there's always going to be some level of economic uncertainty. Does that mean home prices are going to crash? No. Even if we do dip into recession, that doesn't mean home prices have to go down. Not every recession results in a decrease in home prices. So where are we at in terms of interest rates? According to Mortgage News Daily, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is currently around 6.17%. Interest rates are headed in the right direction. Now, what will rates do in the future? Nobody knows. Trying to predict the interest rates is a fool's errand. This all boils back to trying to time the market. When is the right time to buy a home? The best time to buy a home is when you are ready, not when somebody on YouTube tells you so. If you can afford a home at the current interest rate and you have at least a 5-year time horizon, you're probably going to be just fine. If rates do go down, you can refinance, but don't count on it. Are we ever going to see 2 to 3% interest rates again? Probably not. That ship has sailed. Life is still going to happen whether or not interest rates are up or down. What about the unemployment rate? Now, because of the government shutdown, we don't have the latest unemployment numbers. The only numbers we have are for the month of September, which reflects the unemployment rate for the month of August. Nationally, we do have a 4.6 unemployment rate, which is up from 4.5% a year ago. Locally, in Douglas County, we have a 3.5% unemployment rate, which was the same as it was the year prior. In Sarpy County, the unemployment rate for the month of September was 2.8%, which is down 0.1% compared to a year ago. Jobs are an important piece of the housing market equation. If jobs are lost, it removes a buyer from the marketplace. What about the price of lumber? When sales increase, what does that do to the price of lumber? When money is less expensive, it makes homes more affordable, which increases demand. The increase in demand increases the price of lumber. When rates decrease, the price of lumber increases. The current price for lumber is at $597 for 1,000 board feet. What about inflation? One of the items that are critical to Fed policy is the inflation rate. The Federal Reserve has two mandates: maximum employment and price stability. If the Fed sees inflation, they tend to increase the federal funds rate. Inflation is when too many dollars are chasing too few goods. Now, what is the current inflation rate? Inflation for the month of August was at 2.9%. The Federal Reserve has said they would like to see inflation running around 2%. If inflation runs higher, then the Fed is less likely to lower the federal funds rate. Unfortunately, there is also a political element to the Fed policy. It's no secret that President Trump is not a fan of Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell has been very hawkish when it comes to interest rates. President Trump would like to see the Federal Reserve be less restrictive. Now, who is right? Now, time will tell. Jerome Powell's term ends in May of 2026. It'll be interesting to see who President Trump nominates in his place. What about the months of supply? Are we in a buyer's market or a seller's market? Now, what is the definition of a buyer's market? A buyer's market is defined as having 6 months of inventory or more. Typically, in a buyer's market, you see high inventory, falling or flat pricing, longer days on the market, and buyers having the most negotiation power. A seller's market is defined as having 3 months of inventory or less. In a seller's market, you see low inventory, rising home prices, shorter days on market, and buyers having limited negotiation power. During the pandemic, we had an extreme seller's market. When you put a home on the market, you would get 10, 15, 20 offers. Now the market is slower. We are still in a seller's market. But if a seller prices the home like it was 4 years ago, the home is going to sit. In the current environment, if a home is on the market for 30 days, if you're a seller, that's going to feel like an eternity. I have been doing this for some time. Back during the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis, we had 6,000 homes on the market. If you sold a home in 30 days back then, sellers were thrilled. Let's look at the existing market. In the existing market, we currently have 1.9 months of inventory. As we go into fall, another thing happens. Inventory tends to peak in the fall. Then sellers take their home off the market as we go into the holidays, and this happens every year. Inventory tends to bottom out in the winter, and then when spring rolls around, inventory begins to increase. If you're a buyer, keep looking. Some of the best deals can be found because sellers get discouraged when activity decreases. If you're in the market for a new home, some builders want to clear out their current inventory. Fall might present a great opportunity. Some builders tend to increase their prices at the start of the new year. If you buy in the fall, you might be able to lock in a price before the price increase. If you're a buyer considering new construction, if you have an agent, be sure your agent is with you when you first visit the model home. Most builders have a policy in place where your agent has to be with you on your first visit. Let's look at the days on market. Now, has the slowdown affected the days on market? The median days on market for an existing home is currently 8 days on the market. That means 50% of the homes sold took 8 days or less to go under contract, and 50% took 8 days or more. What do you do if you're a seller and your home is sitting? If you're going to do a price reduction, do it right. Don't do a small reduction. Make it significant so it rekindles excitement in the marketplace. Let's say you're at $425,000 and there's no activity. Don't lower the price $5,000. Lower it $25,000 so you open up the home to a new pool of buyers. Agents and buyers are going to get excited about a $25,000 reduction. A $5,000 reduction just isn't going to cut it. Even better, price it right from the start. The best time as a seller to get the most amount of the money is when the home first hits the market. If you overprice the home when you first list it, you ruin the best time to be on the market. Let's look at the price per square foot. This is the 12-month rolling average over the past 10 years. New construction is in green and existing is in red. New construction is currently at $257 a square foot. And we can see a flattening of that green line in the past year. For existing, we're at $216 a square foot, which is up 3.8% compared to last year.